From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Ahmed Ramadan. U.S. analyst Ashley Tellis, architect of the India-U.S. nuclear deal, is arrested for hoarding classified files and meeting Chinese officials. This and more on today's show. Stay tuned. The Senate has confirmed 2 Muslim American ambassadors nominated by President Donald Trump for key posts in the Middle East. Michel Isa, a Lebanese-born businessman and Trump's longtime associate, will serve as ambassador to Lebanon. He has called for the disarming of Hezbollah, saying the group's loyalty lies with Iran, not Lebanon. Bill Bazzi, a Marine Corps veteran and former mayor of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, was approved as ambassador to Tunisia. Bazzi says his endorsement of Trump stemmed from the president's push for diplomacy and peace in the Middle East. Both confirmations were welcomed by Arab American leaders and Trump allies. However, a third nominee, Yemeni-born Amr Ghalib, faces delays in his confirmation for ambassador to Kuwait, amid opposition from pro-Israel groups. Ghalib, the mayor of Hamtramck, Michigan, has voiced strong support for Palestinians and the BDS movement. BDS is a non-violent, Palestinian-led movement promoting boycotts, divestments, and economic sanctions against Israel. Its goal is to pressure Israel to meet its obligations to Palestinians under international law. U.S. foreign policy analyst Ashley Tellis has been arrested in Virginia for allegedly hoarding classified documents and meeting Chinese officials. The Justice Department says agents found more than 1,000 pages of top secret and secret files at his home near Washington. Court papers say he removed sensitive material from government buildings and later met with Chinese officials, including one encounter in Virginia last month. Tellis is one of the key architects of the 2008 India-U.S. nuclear deal. He previously served with the State Department, the Pentagon, and the National Security Council under former President George W. Bush. If convicted, he faces up to 10 years in prison. Arab American businessman Eddie Jawad is recovering after being shot outside his $1.9 million mansion in Macomb Township, Michigan. Police say it was a targeted attack. The 59-year-old entrepreneur has built a fuel empire across Metro Detroit with more than 20 pit stop gas stations under major brands such as 7-Eleven and Circle K. Jawad was shot Tuesday morning. His wife told the Daily Mail the gunman jumped out from behind bushes and opened fire without attempting a robbery. Jawad, a vocal advocate for small businesses, has often clashed with township officials over large corporate developments. He has publicly accused local authorities of favoring big companies over community interests. Jawad remains hospitalized but in stable condition as police continue their investigation. Community leaders praise Jawad as a fearless advocate. The Dearborn, Michigan-based MENA American Chamber of Commerce said he has a record of exposing local corruption. Activist Hassan Aoun called him a respected resident who stood up when others stayed silent. New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani's campaign has accused pro-Israel billionaire Bill Ackman of trying to buy an election. Ackman donated another $1 million to Super PAC backing his opponent, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Ackman, a hedge fund manager and supporter of President Donald Trump, earlier gave $500,000 during the primary to the same group. The group Defend NYC is led by Trump's former advisor Jason Meister. Despite Mamdani's grassroots victory and more than 87,000 volunteers, Cuomo continues to draw backing from Trump-linked billionaires. These include John Hess, Ronald Lauder, and Walmart heiress Alice Walton. Hess, Lauder, and Walton have together funneled more than $2 million into Cuomo's Super PAC, according to reports. Responding to Ackman's latest donation, Mamdani's spokesperson Dora Pekic said Zohran has defeated the billionaires once and will do it again. Dozens of Pentagon correspondents have turned in their badges after refusing to accept new Defense Department rules seen as restricting press freedom. The Pentagon Press Association says the Defense Department confiscated the credentials of reporters from nearly every major U.S. outlet, including CNN, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. The journalists were ordered to vacate Pentagon offices after rejecting a policy that bars using any unauthorized materials, even if unclassified. Reporters say the new pledge could criminalize national security coverage and expose them to prosecution. The association has called it a dark day for press freedom that weakens transparency and accountability. President Donald Trump defended Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, claiming the media is very dishonest and disruptive to world peace. Despite the ban, reporters vow to continue covering the U.S. military independently. Israel's two-year genocide in Gaza has caused more than $70 billion in direct losses. Palestinian Media Office Chief Ismail Thawabta said at a press conference the damage hit every vital sector. He described it as systematic destruction. Israel destroyed 38 hospitals and dozens of health centers, more than 670 schools and 165 universities. Israel has killed more than 13,500 students, 830 teachers, and nearly 200 academics since October 2023. Thawabta said Israel targeted 835 mosques, 3 churches, and 40 cemeteries, as well as flattening approximately 300,000 homes, leaving 2 million people displaced. He is calling for an immediate end to the siege and called for an independent international committee to investigate Israeli war crimes. Doctors in Gaza say bodies returned by Israel show signs of torture. Details coming up next.
My name is Layla. I was an average kid until Zula Inc. broke into my life because my dad discovered time travel. After that, everything changed.
You're the new girl Layla, right?
Whoa! What if I don't fit in?
Abdullah!
Do I hear my name? Welcome to Vancouver, cuz.
Whoa!
You 4 have been specially chosen to take our project into the next generation.
You can time travel?
Abdullah! No! Abdullah! Where?
Do you really think I don't know why we had to leave Seattle, Mama?
Now here, keep these close. These should never leave your wrist.
This virtual reality game is crazy. You can even eat. This is reality, buddy. We zoomed through a wormhole.
Oh no! My Go Watch! It's gone!
What does this do?
That's Al-Khwarizmi. You know, the father of mathematics. It's because of him we have algorithms.
I will not stop until your legacy, everyone's legacy, lies in ruins. Of course it was you. You little rascals ruined everything.
Your fate will be great. Just don't give up.
Time hoppers.
Doctors in Gaza say many of the 90 Palestinian bodies returned by Israel under the ceasefire deal show clear evidence of torture and execution. Medical staff at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis said nearly all the bodies were blindfolded, had their hands tied, and were shot at close range between the eyes. Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra, head of the hospital's pediatric department, said many also bore bruises and burn marks, suggesting they were beaten before being killed. He added the bodies had been kept in Israeli morgues with numbered tags but no names. Farah said they know the identity of these victims but want to prolong the agony of their families. Gaza hospitals, heavily damaged by 2 years of Israeli bombardment, lack the facilities to carry out DNA testing for identification. The International Criminal Court is investigating war crime allegations, including a case in March when the bodies of 15 Palestinian medics were found in a shallow grave. Israeli forces referred media inquiries to the Israeli Prison Service, which has not yet commented. The health ministry in Gaza says it has received the remains of 30 Palestinian prisoners from Israel through the Red Cross. This brings the total number returned since Friday's ceasefire to 120. Despite a fragile ceasefire, Israeli forces killed at least 3 Palestinians in new attacks across Gaza on Thursday, according to medical sources cited by Al Jazeera. A man was shot dead in the eastern Burayj refugee camp in central Gaza, while Israeli quadcopter drones dropped bombs on Beni Suhaila in Khan Yunis, killing another. A third person was killed earlier in the day in Israeli strikes, and one more was wounded by Israeli gunfire in the West Bank town of Al Ram, Wafa news agency reports. The health ministry in Gaza said hospitals received 29 bodies in the past 24 hours, including 4 killed in new attacks, bringing total Palestinian deaths since October 2023 to 67,967, with more than 170,000 wounded, numbers that are expected to be much higher. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, says Israel is blocking aid deliveries despite the ceasefire. Palestinian officials estimate up to 70 million tons of rubble across the enclave. A fragile ceasefire is holding between Pakistan and Afghanistan after days of deadly cross-border fighting. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said Islamabad is ready for dialogue if Afghanistan agrees to meet Pakistan's justified conditions. Both sides agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire on Wednesday after intense clashes along the Spin Buldak border in southern Kandahar province. Pakistan's army said Afghan Taliban forces earlier had launched pre-dawn attacks on the province of Balochistan. In retaliation, Pakistani troops destroyed several Afghan posts and tanks, killing around 30 Taliban and Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, fighters. Kabul, however, claims 12 Afghans were killed and more than 100 injured, alleging one Pakistani tank was captured in counterattacks. Security sources in Islamabad say Pakistan forces also foiled an infiltration attempt in the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, killing up to 50 militants. The border crossings remain closed for trade amid rising tensions. Islamabad accuses Kabul of allowing TTP fighters to operate from Afghan soil, a claim backed by a recent UN report linking the Afghan regime to the group. Pakistan has seen a surge in terrorist incidents since the Taliban returned to power in 2021, with more than 2,400 deaths reported this year alone. Officials say both sides will sincerely work towards a permanent solution through dialogue, but mistrust remains high. Pakistani authorities on Wednesday demolished an Afghan refugee camp in the city of Karachi as the deadline for undocumented foreigners to leave the country expired. Bulldozers tore through makeshift shelters in the Sorab Got area. Security forces supervised the operation, saying only illegal residents were being removed. The move follows the government's nationwide crackdown on undocumented migrants, most of them Afghans. Officials say more than 200,000 people have already returned to Afghanistan. Human rights groups have urged Pakistan to halt the evictions, warning of a humanitarian crisis as winter approaches. The United Nations has sounded the alarm over a worsening humanitarian crisis in Sudan's Darfur region, where civilians face a deadly siege and a fast-spreading cholera outbreak. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur, now is under siege from all directions. Food and water are running out. markets are nearly empty and prices for basic goods have skyrocketed. Earthborne barriers have cut off movement and humanitarian aid. Local kitchens that once fed thousands have closed, leaving families desperate. Across the country, violence and displacement continue, with new fighting reported in Blue Nile State. Sudan's health ministry has recorded more than 3,400 deaths and nearly 122,000 suspected cholera cases since last July, with fatality rates far above emergency levels. The UN has urged all parties to respect international humanitarian law and appealed for urgent funding, warning its $4.2 billion aid plan is less than 27% funded. A woman-led Arab research team has developed a breakthrough method that converts coffee and plastic waste into activated carbon to capture carbon dioxide. The process runs at 600 degrees Celsius, much lower than traditional plastic recycling. Jawad says the technology transforms two major waste sources into a resource that reduces air pollution. Globally, more than 8 million tons of coffee waste and billions of PET bottles end up in landfills each year. The patented method could help industries cut emissions while reusing waste. Activated carbon is widely used in water filtration, air purification, and wastewater treatment. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.